the first episode of Whiskey and Wontons. We're over here at Ziggy's Retro Diner. It used to be Ziggy's Bar with Mitch, the boss, best in the business. I haven't started on the whiskey yet, but I've got a cup of black coffee, and we're gonna work our way around to this bad boy, the Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition, 50% ABV, and this is a tasty one. I got a few others at the house, but I think this one was a pretty good choice to kick it off with. So we'll get that going in a little bit. Anyway, so Mitch, when did you come to China?
What was it 2011?
Okay. Did a company bring you over here, or?
I had a chance I worked in one of my graphics jobs at a tool company, doing we made like drill bits and different whatever hand tools in Montana of all places. And I had a chance at a job over here being head of the marketing department for a tooling company, so it was a good fit and way more pay, so I ended up over here.
Okay. And so that's not the same job you're working now, right?
No, that was in Hangzhou.
Oh, right. The worst place in the world.
If you're Ryan.
Yeah.
Fantastic when I lived.
We've got a friend, anytime you mention Hangzhou, he just like, it's like a Jerry Newman thing. He's like, I hate Hangzhou. We're like, we know. I don't know. I've never been to Hangzhou. I've heard it's fine. But apparently it's like the Cleveland of China.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. He must have got butt raped over there or something.
Somebody hit him with a twisted T. But, okay, so that eventually you quit, or you found a better opportunity, or
it was
what?
like the boss of the factory is actually really smart. He brings in Westerners like on rotation to keep different areas fresh, right? And so the marketing one was only like a two-year contract, I guess, and then he rotated into another Westerner. So applied for the job. I actually had interviewed for this job while I was working at that company, but at that time it wasn't a good fit. And then that job ended, and then quickly it became a good fit.
Yeah.
Being out of work or still having a job. Okay, I'll take still having a job.
Yeah. And so that's the wait, is that the job you have now?
Yep.
Okay.
Been there 10 years now.
Man, so you get a watch or something?
I'll be lucky if I don't get a boot in the ass.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you started there 10 years ago, and then how long you had Ziggy's? The place we're sitting in now is a 50. We'll give you a look around in a minute. It's a 50s themed diner, but it used to be plastered with like rock band photos. It used to be like dark in here and strobe lights and everything. This is the full-fledged bar. This is originally Ziggy's Bar. The new Ziggy's Bar location's down the street. But when did you originally open the first Ziggy's Bar location?
It's 2015, I think it was.
All right, so yeah.
Like September 2015.
Okay. So what made you decide to take the next step and take root here? Because once you open a business, there's not a lot of turning back from that.
It was my girlfriend's idea at the time. She thought, well, you're pretty good at conversing with locals and conversing with your friends, and you're always out drinking anyway. So you should just take the next step and have a bar. So. You might
as well spend it buying booze from yourself instead.
Exactly. You might as well support your own habit.
Yeah. Hey. All right. Yeah.
So did that in this location for whatever, I think 5 years here. Then we're right below apartments here, right? So this location was constantly a headache for noise complaints and everything. So then we got a chance at the new location, opened up there, and then we still have a massive deposit here that we can't get out of. So converted this into a restaurant.
Oh, okay. So how long you so you guys are Ziggy's Diner is like kind of serving time in this spot until you could. Are you gonna upgrade when they break those chains?
I hope so. Yeah. Actually,
Okay.
there's another location that we're looking at doing much bigger.
Ooh, much bigger. Bigly.
Jesus, hugely.
Hugely. So, yeah, Chinese New Year, for those of you guys that are stateside, where Chinese New Year is just about to get kicked off here, and this year it's from like February, like around the first week of February, and it lasts for a solid couple of weeks. Normally it follows the lunar calendar. I would know dates if it were like a date-related holiday, but the way China does all the holidays, it's lunar calendar. You have like double 4, which is like Tomb Sweeping Day, and that aligns with the fourth day of the fourth lunar month. And then so Lunar New Year was like, when did we go? When did we have brisket? Last weekend.
Yep.
And that was my girlfriend Mona's lunar birthday, and she's born on the second day of the year, so that applies on. So everybody has 2 birthdays if you're Chinese, which is complicated for gifts. It essentially boils down to you don't get gifts for both birthdays. But yeah, so
it's China. You don't even really need to give gifts for any birthday.
as long as you do JD.com Valentine's Day, 5/20, and the other 14 government-approved Valentine's Days, you should be A-okay. So yeah, got way off track. All the things they go by the lunar calendar. So long story short, the date changes every year. And some days like Mid-Autumn Festival, which is the fall holiday that happens in the fall around August. Sometimes it's around August, sometimes it's September. I think it's maybe even been the first part of October.
Yeah, it's been...
occasionally, and it like coincides with National Day, which is October 1st. Then you get like this super holiday. And you get 2 weeks and get to travel. But yeah, so Chinese New Year, and this is I don't know how much you guys have heard, but Chinese New Year is where everybody travels. And you're supposed to go see your family. So like, let's say I was born in Fargo, North Dakota, and I lived my whole life in Texas. And let's say that hypothetically, like my grandparents still live in Fargo, and like one of my uncles still lives in Fargo. But right, then their daughters and sons, they've all moved to like LA and Arizona and Massachusetts and stuff. So like, if you Chinese New Yearified and like took this and applied it to America, we would all be flocking back to like the oldest living relative's point of origin, I think.
Yeah.
And so we would go hang out there for a week or 2 and like basically just have feasts.
Yeah, it's basically Christmas and Thanksgiving rolled into one.
Yeah, and everyone gives each other like little red envelopes full of cash, and then the kids, they maybe don't understand grasp like the significance of the holiday, and they spend the whole time playing games on their phone and complaining about how boring it is. But I tell you, I used to be like that, and it's crazy. No one can explain to you how as you get older, you appreciate being around your family more, because everything, I was a little shithead, everything my mom said when I was like 10, 15, 20, where I was like, Mom, you don't know anything, whatever, and well, I'm gonna get rich and I'm gonna do this, and didn't work out, and I'm 30, I wake up, I'm 30, 31, 32, 33, I'm knocking on 35 now, and things still happen to me in daily life where I'm like, shit, she was right. She was right about something else. I'll be driving around, or I'll be looking at my bank account. Damn, she was right about that. Or I'll be paying a bill and something. Right about that. So, yeah, if you're watching this and you're under 20, think about like rolling over on some things and being like, you know what, they might be right, but I don't think anybody will, because I didn't. Can't tell me anything. Yeah, tangent number. We gotta have a tangent counter up here.
Ding.
I'm like a less glamorous version of Kanye West or something. That was a symphony. You're welcome. Cling. Number 1. All right. So circling back. So this coffee, another rant. Another side note, y'all got it from Starbucks. It's the Starbucks, the Vietnam blend.
Yep.
I went in Starbucks a couple days ago and I saw they've got a Oaxaca blend and a can't remember where the other Yunnan province. I wanted to go out there. That's what I wanted to do for Chinese New Year. I was gonna go to Dali. I know a guy who's a climbing guide out there, and so he takes people on maybe like family climbing tours, company climbing tours, things like that. And he is like back in Canada right now, but I've seen like a bunch of photos that I love mountains. You were saying your original job before you moved to China was Montana, and I've been to Montana once to visit another friend that still lives up there actually. Beautiful. Like when you're coming in on the airplane and you're flying over Montana, it's just like, one of those moments. I got my phone up against the window, like wow, like snow-capped mountains and clouds and these electric blue streams winding through, and
not a lot of civilization, really.
No, it's like Glacier National Park is up there.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. Going to the Sun Road is awesome. You should look that up.
Sun Road?
Going to the Sun Road.
Going to the Sun Road.
It's on the way to you can go to Banff from there.
Oh yeah.
But it's like it's literally barely a car width and a half wide road cut into the mountain, and every year, they get up in the mountains, so every year they get like 30-40 feet of snow, and the snowplow drivers basically have to go from memory as to where the road actually is to plow the snow off to get to the road.
Wow.
So every year, I mean, they've never had, I don't think they've had a few deaths, like guys literally, the only thing, the edge of the road's got like a little flagstone,
like a little berm,
hand built little rectangular shaped railing, and that's it. They're just made out of rock. But when you're in a snowblower or a cat knocking off snow, there's nothing holding them off the side. So they literally just from memory have to know where the road is and plow off that freaking snow and hope that they're on the road.
Oh man!
And they interviewed one guy when he retired, and he was plowing and he misjudged where the road was, and like the front of his cat was off the cliff, and he caught it just in time, right? And he went to throw it in reverse and threw it in first gear and lurched forward again, and he retired like that day. He's like, yeah, that was a sign it's time to retire.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like that close to just like it's like 300-400 foot drop. He just been toast.
Yeah. It's like the one you ever see the ones that come across on WeChat of like China. It'll be like a tour bus, and there's some little path etched in the edge of a road, and they're just like ding 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 ding, and it's like a bus full of people, and somebody like sticks their phone out the window, and it's just
sheer drop, and there's nothing on the edge there to catch them.
Nothing.
It's just purely the bus driver.
Yeah, and the guys, some of them like they blow through those turns too.
Yeah, I've seen those videos. It scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. Oh man, what else? What else is going on? We got the changing of the guard there at presidency. I don't want to get too political on this thing, but I mean, it's almost like an unavoidable topic. Trump permanently banned from Twitter.
That's true. It's slippery slope.
I saw a thing on LinkedIn. Let me just make sure we're still getting audio here. Yep. I saw a thing on LinkedIn that Twitter lost $5 billion. Feel free to Google this. In its market valuation.
Wow.
By banning Trump. It's like a
followers.
Lifetime ban.
Yeah, all those followers.
Yeah, or people just not getting on Twitter as much, because if you think about the news cycle, it was, oh, well, Trump tweeted this, and you're like subtracting that. And what percentage of the news was Trump tweeted this?
Well, have you seen what they're doing now, though? I was on like Yahoo 2 days ago, and now they just include Trump on anything to make clickbait. So it's like Biden's new tax codes are won't conflict with Trump's, and it's like what? And then you click on it, and it's like, oh, he's gonna keep the good ones that help the middle class, but but it was a total click. There's nothing about Trump in there at all. It was just in the title to get you to click on it. Like, what the hell? He's not going to change any of these Trump taxes, and it's like, oh yeah, he's going to change everything, but then Trump was in there just to get you to go to the article.
Click, yeah.
And I've seen like 5 or 6 stories like that on there now, where it's just his name's in there just to get you to click on it.
Yeah, and there's
and just ridiculous stories. People are quitting at Mar-a-Lago because Trump's so depressed. You got to get the guy in there that much, or get the clickbait just over a stupid story like that.
I heard they took the news. I heard it was CNN. I don't know if all the media outlets did this, or the news companies, but I heard CNN took the COVID death counter off the day Biden got sworn in.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Because, I think, okay, Trump had his fair share of things that people cannot be happy about, but it felt like the news was just teeing off on him. We tried to ruin him a few times and it didn't work, so
now they're all pissed off at Biden though too, right? It's like they're not happy with anything.
Well, dude, Biden's changed his tune dramatically since he got sworn in.
That you can't eradicate COVID, right? Which was his campaign mantra. We're going to change it and eradicate it. Now it's like, we're going to have to let it run its course, but we can do things to try and slow it down. So it's like, the tune's totally changed.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sworn in now. Can't they cook up some? I would laugh if they'd been like, oh, we're going to impeach Biden for lying about what he was going to do during his campaign. But,
well, that QAnon lady did, right? She wrote up articles of impeachment the day he got sworn in.
Oh yeah, man! Everyone they could write articles of impeachment for anyone. There's no clean. I mean, Hillary,
Well, they were saying no. It's like they were saying that it's literally nobody's happy now. They're never happy. Mm-hmm. Was it Black Lives Matter? They protested Biden the day he got inaugurated. They were smashing shit and going crazy again.
What?
It's like, you should be happy that a Democrat got in office, but they still or it was Antifa. They still rioted and went batshit crazy the day he was getting inaugurated.
I feel like Antifa's job is just to go batshit crazy all the time. I don't think it matters what happens.
Yeah,
they just want to upset the apple cart.
But I was watching what's it called? Real Time with Bill Maher, and that's what his point was. He's like, it's like, is this really what America is? It's like, both sides, they're not happy no matter who's in there. They're still pissed off. Doesn't matter who's in office.
To be fair, none of the candidates are good.
Yeah.
But I mean,
unless they're two evils.
That's not the way. I always, you think what is the most effective way to affect change?
Clean house. Have term limits.
But yeah, big on senators, yeah, because those guys, man, who is it? They just get comfy in there. They've been senators for 40 years.
Well, once you get in, you just get reelected every year.
And you just get your palms greased.
Yes.
It seems like, I mean, I haven't done a lot of research on this, but it seems like the dudes have lots of money and fly around on private jets all the time.
No, my dad, he's not a huge political guy or anything, but he's pretty hardcore Republican. And I was like, Dad, why does it seem like these congressmen are always, when I was really young, it's like, it seems like they're always loaded. And he's like, well, hell yes, of course they are. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, who knows where a highway is going through 5 years before anybody else? All these and congressmen and senators, and they snatch up all the land.
That too.
And then they
jack up the rate. Then Walmart has to buy a plot.
Exactly. And they divvy it up to where, I mean, even in Podunk, Montana, when Lowe's came to town, right? They, the place is so small, they're just now getting places like Lowe's and Home Depot and shit.
Yeah.
But they did the same thing there. So Lowe's buys this plot of land, right? but the plot of land itself is completely useless because the electrical for it, it's on a different plot of land. You're gonna need to buy that as well. Oh, and the water for it, that's on another plot of land. So they fuck over even corporations. And the people, of course, that own these chunks of land were
they keep
senators
nickel and diming them.
Yeah, but they were congressmen and shit like that through their little shell companies own all these chunks of land, and they just sell it in portions and have to buy the whole enchilada to get everything you need to actually run a business there. It's fucking crazy.
That is one of the perils of the level of capitalism we're at. I think capitalism, it's the American system in theory is great, but it got to a certain point and we did like a triple backflip over this line where it went from a really good system that works to like, hang on a second, this small group can actually just snowball being like the like from being wealthy elites and leverage it into being more wealthier and even more elite. Like,
yeah, we went from, I mean, even back in the day, right? Like people that owned like I don't know, somebody like that owned like Ford or somebody that owned some sort of a business where they built it up and had a factory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were very well to do already. And then it's like somewhere along the way it's like, yeah, but I could be, instead of a multimillionaire, I could be a billionaire if I moved to China. And like it's like they all got together and like, yeah, let's just all move to China.
Yeah.
And it's like you were already making millions of dollars, you know, you have more money than you can spend. So, but you put a bunch of Americans out of work, right? And screw our entire manufacturing industry, and then move everything to China so you can make more money than your grandkids' could spend. You know, it's just like greed, corporate greed is like at all-time high, and it's not going to change. It's not going to come back.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I did admire about what Trump was doing is what he said, at least when he said like we need to bring jobs back. I said, you know, this did happen like one company at a time. A guy said, oh well, I could, and it's not like we'll go out of business if we don't relocate our factory to China. It's like, oh, I'm like this rich, which is like let's say like the average person's like this, and some guy gets like, I don't know, like Donald Trump rich, and he wants to be like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos rich, you know, and he's like, oh, well, I want to jump into this stratum. And so it's like, hey, fair enough, like the system allows you to do that, you can do this, you can move all your operations to China, nobody's stopping you, but then when this guy follows suit, and this guy follows suit, and this guy follows suit, then you don't have factories in America anymore, and then you tell all the Americans, you are this unique academic snowflake and you need a degree, right? Oh, you should go to college and you can be a scholar or an artist. Everybody isn't a scholar or an artist. Like some people are like their talents are working with their hands and like, you know, they're strong or, you know, they can do like certain tasks or something like that. People don't want to write poetry. Some people don't want to do art. Some people don't want to run a business. Or, you know, work in a restaurant or something like that. So that like one at a time, those manufacturing jobs got moved out of the economy over into China. China makes everything. America, now you got all the Americans going to college, and they say, oh, well, we don't have enough money to go to college, and then they start doing student loans, and then the universities say, oh, because you started doing loans, well, we'll just jack up the price since somebody else is kind of footing the bill for now anyway. And then the loans are like, oh, the universities are charging more? Well, I guess we'll loan you more. And the universities, oh, they're loaning more? I guess we'll charge you more. Oh, they're charging more? I guess we'll loan you more. And it goes, debt. And then people say, you know, they should do student loan forgiveness. And then the parents are like, oh, well, no, you shouldn't because you went to college, you should pay for it. But there needs to be a point in early adulthood where the people going into college, there's
it's
almost
like they do in the NFL where they have to learn like, you know, I don't know, how to manage your money, and if you have a big fat loan out there and you don't get a job, the consequences.
Yeah.
Like, that's the NFL guys, right? Like the rookies coming in, like you're gonna be really, really rich, and you're gonna have people wanting you to loan them money or invest in a business, and blah blah blah. And they gotta train them on how to handle having a bunch of money. But it's the flip side for these people going into college. Oh, I can just borrow all this money and there's no consequences for a long time. What's the worst that can happen? And then it's like, oh my God, I'm working minimum wage job and I got half my income going to pay for my tuition. I can't even afford to rent an apartment. Blah blah blah. They can't afford to live.
Yeah. And
you get out of school and you owe like $200,000 in student loans or more.
I mean, that's probably a worst case scenario, but
my sister went to 4 years college for Washington State University, and I think her student loans would have been like $150,000, but my dad helped her, pay it along the way.
Yeah.
Over $100,000 easily, just for 4 years of college at a, Pac. What is it now? Pac-12 college.
Pac-12, Pac-10. They've shuffled it around so much, the college conferences, I can't even tell anymore. But, yeah, exactly. Like, that people don't, or you're programmed to, like, go to college. Like, it's the only choice after high school. But, it almost doesn't feel like there's an alternative. And there's so many different things to study. Oh, man. I could go down a rabbit hole. There's so many things to study that you could really, like, they could make you go to college for, like, anything, Back in the day, it was like, oh, you want to be an air condition repairman, follow an air condition repairman around and learn how to do everything he does, and then become an air conditioner repairman.
There's a trade.
Now it's go to vocational school, trade school. Now it's you got to go to trade school because
it's still expensive, but not as expensive as college. And they usually can place you.
And then you touch back on the capitalism thing where instead of saying, oh, well, just go be an apprentice, it's this school system or this, like, school culture is like, oh, well, no, you need to pay for a 2-year program when you probably could just, like you could have followed a guy around the old days. I don't want to get into the actual nuts and bolts of how to have enough money to follow someone around and learn to do what they do, but I'm saying, like, do you need to go to a 1 or 2 year school for air condition repair or, like there's certain things you can pick up over the course of a few months. Like I feel like on the job training sort of evaporated, but then by the same token, education, just like the K through 12 education, has slipped so much. Employers need to require a college degree just to weed out the, like, total idiots, Yeah. It's like, oh, well, it's if people can't afford to go to college, instead of doing loan forgiveness, instead of doing all this, why don't we just make fewer jobs require a college diploma? And then you've got people who maybe need to get better at interviewing, who are hiring people who weren't qualified, and then they say, oh, well, we keep hiring these idiots. Well, you gotta fire them. It's like, oh, well, I'm not good at hiring and I don't have the balls to fire people. Well, get somebody else to handle that job. There's a lot going on there. But I was I could go on for days, but shifting gears a little bit, keep it light. About to pour this thing up in a minute. I wanted to do this before the NFC and AFC championship game so I could, like, make predictions and probably watch myself. Turned out I was right. Maybe watch myself be wrong. Turned out I was right. Super Bowl, Brady versus Mahomes. Surprise, surprise. I did not know that Aaron Rodgers was 1-3 in conference championship games before yesterday. But in the one he won, I was watching the one NFC championship game that he won. It was against the Bears, like, when he was on the way to that Super Bowl, right? And Jay Cutler had, like, cramps or something, and he was riding this exercise bike, and this little guy named Caleb Haney comes in and almost
beat Aaron Rodgers, and I think in his other conference championship games, Aaron Rodgers, he got like 170 passing yards, 177 passing yards. He'd never broken like 180 passing yards. But everybody says, oh, he can throw off platform, and he can throw at this angle, and he can throw at that angle, and he can throw out of the pocket, and he's the best thrower of the football, and he's got the best touch and this and that. Not in conference championship games, man.
Yeah.
You could have fooled me. He looked pedestrian.
Yeah.
And that was the rag. I'm going to make this comment, and I'm just going to leave it alone, and we'll come back to it another day. But that's the kind of thing that got LeBron in trouble back in 2010, 2011, when they played the Mavericks, and they had the whole chosen one, frozen one thing, because LeBron, when he was going for his first finals, he played way below his level. I think it was chokish, but I think LeBron gets a bad rap for that, and I think he's evolved so much since then, and some people don't want to recognize it, or maybe we have that bias because it was like our first impression of LeBron when championship games were coming around. But yeah, I mean, if you get to the conference championship game, what Brady's been to 13 of them.
Yeah.
And
ridiculous.
Brady's in his 10th Super Bowl, so conference championship games, he's what, like 10-3, 11, and like pretty good. One more than half, you know. And then he gets into Super Bowls, he's 6-3, so he's lost half the amount of Super Bowls that he's won.
Ridiculous.
Nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
Nothing to sneeze at. So
Unbelievable.
yeah. So this morning, dude, I was not gonna. The game was at. I think it was at 2. If y'all are watching Central Time, it was, I think, 2 p.m. Over here it was 4 a.m. So we're 14 hours ahead. I was not about to wake up at 4 a.m. I was like, I'll wake up at 6:30 or 7 and catch the second half in the fourth quarter. And I turned it on. It was like 31-26. And Green Bay had just failed to get a touchdown or something. I think they'd taken a field goal and it was still a 5-point game. And I basically just watched Tom Brady run the clock out. But yesterday I was like,
LaFleur, their coach.
Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, he's getting shit over that idiotic move. Even Rodgers went off on it after the game.
Really?
Oh yeah, I called his coach out. Oh. What the fuck are you thinking? Why would you not go for it?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that's one of those situations where
you're on the 4-yard line,
got momentum.
Fourth and goal.
You can kick a field goal from anywhere, but I mean, if you're on the 4, it is worth the push. But one, if you have a problem with the coach's call, you need to keep that. If you want to
He's going to be gone this year anyway.
Maintain a relationship. Well, I don't know. You can either Rodgers.
Yes.
You can either maintain a relationship with your coach, or you can throw him under the bus. Right, like now it's sour grapes because he went and did that at the press conference. But I mean, to be fair, yeah, you're on the 4-yard line. You might as well go for it. But
if you don't get it, they're backed up in their own end zone, and you got a much better chance. Maybe you get a safety or you get the ball back.
I mean, doubtful, but it's better than taking a field goal.
Not like Tom Brady's ever thrown an interception and had it run back at the goal line with his back up to the goal. Happened last year.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
When he completely had the meltdown at the end of the game.
No,
They were backed up in their own intersection and end zone, I mean.
He was in New England. Who are they playing? They were playing, were they playing Kansas City?
Kansas City.
This is the AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'd already thrown a pick.
I don't remember this at all.
And then they were backed up in their own end zone, and he went to throw somebody, and the cornerback ran right in front of it and ran it in for a touchdown.
Was it Matthew?
I can't remember.
Man, that guy, yeah, old 32. He's always like, he's got a kind of a nose for the ball. He's always in those situations. He's either on a tackle, like somebody gets the ball and he's there. Like, man, he's good. He's real good. He's always in the mix. But yeah, Brady's touchdown to interception ratio has just been going like that, and yeah, it'd be real interesting to see. I mean, all the stats are screaming Kansas City's going to win the Super Bowl, but never underestimate the NFL's ability to or inability to resist a good storyline. But
well, that was your conspiracy thing, right?
That's my NFL conspiracy theorist.
But it can go either way.
We're gonna get T-shirts made. It could go either way.
All right, you're handing of the guard.
passing of the torch, and Mahomes gets his back-to-back against the last quarterback to get a back-to-back before him. And so that's the thing they could say at the end of the game. It's
or your other one was Tom Brady gets it because he's got to show that he can win without Belichick.
And he has to defend his most recent back-to-back championship by keeping Patrick Mahomes from being the next guy to get a back-to-back champion. So it's like either way it goes, you can make a little storyline out of it. But if you drop the Bills in there, it ruins everything. If you drop Aaron Rodgers in there, it kind of ruins everything. And then
there was no nefarious stuff the other day. I watched both games. There wasn't any blatant calls. That one pass interference was screwed.
But I mean,
it was very obvious.
Yeah.
But other times in the game, I mean, they were letting those guys rape each other. It was ridiculous.
That's what gets me too.
Devontae Adams couldn't do shit. He's like running off the line, and the guy's fucking hugging him.
Really?
And then finally like pushes off on the guy, and then by that time the ball's whizzing by him. He couldn't even totally fucked up all their routes. But it was on both sides. Their DBs were just raping each other at the line. And they just let it. They're letting.
Well, you get 5 yards. You get 5 yards. It's like open season. You jam at the line or whatever. But you mean he was on his route and he was like
actually literally grabbing each other.
Oh.
Like, he's gonna get by me, and the guy's looping him at the waist, and then as he runs out, then okay, I let him go. And by that time, he's already it's offset the rhythm of the pass, and it's the ball's whizzing by him. But it was both sides all game. They're just letting him play. I'm like, wow, I guess. It's blatantly.
Yeah. That's the thing about and I've seen a couple of podcasts actually where they have referees on from like the 80s or 90s, guys that are retired, and they're like, yeah, man, if we like messed up a call, they've told us to like kind of call the game the other way to even it out.
Yeah, they'll come up with a make good call later on in the game.
Yeah, and so there's just.
But like we were discussing the other day, the Saints got screwed 3 years in a row,
Dude.
like blatantly screwed.
I was watching like what was it? They did America's Game, and it was like the Seattle Super Bowl run, or no. It was the Rams. They did Seattle first, and then they did the Rams Super Bowl run after that. And the Rams one was the one that showed like at the end, there's like the Saints guy, number 11, like Drew Brees lets it go, ball's in the air, and the Rams guy just
took him out. Yeah.
I mean, it was like he just like WWE then just spears him like it's game over, and the ball's in the air, and everybody's like, and Sean Payton is literally like ready to murder somebody. He's like red face, like going around like shaking his fist, about to strangle a ref. And I was like, that is the most egregious robbery I've ever witnessed.
And it was the same thing the year before, though. There was another one the year before. They got screwed on another last-second call.
Was it the Minnesota Miracle where the guy...
No. That wasn't... The refs literally screwed him over on another play the year before. Very similar play.
Oh, okay.
Like balls in the air, and the guy's going to catch it, and like literally the DB is falling and pulls him down, and the ball clearly catchable, right? Like pulls him down, the ball goes right by, and they're like, didn't see a thing. And it's like, what? No call. 2 years in a row.
Yeah, the Saints got screwed.
But on your conspiracy theories, my Seahawks fan. So when the Seahawks made it in 2013 against the Steelers, it was Jerome Bettis' last year. So we got screwed on every single call. If you go back and watch that game, we got screwed on every single call, but the bus got his Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Went out with the Super Bowl.
And I'll have to make sure the audio's still going. All right, what were we just talking about?
Seahawks need a pass rush. Still.
After that.
That's where we paused.
Oh, okay. Cowboys. Dak. Falcons. Super Bowl. Oh yeah, you were saying, for some reason the GoPro turned itself off, so I just, Yeah. There's going to be like a little point in the conversation where we were talking about one thing and it seems like we jumped completely to another. There's a skip frame. I'm probably going to cut this out too. But, yeah. We were talking about the Falcons coming back against the Patriots, and I said the Falcons are one of those teams that are stuck in football purgatory because they're never good enough. They're never bad enough to get a good draft pick, but they're never good enough to like win the Super Bowl. And I said that when they had Kyle Shanahan as what, head coach?
Yeah.
Or OC?
Who was their head coach before?
Dan Quinn
Quinn.
Dan Quinn the head coach and Shanahan was the OC, or was Shanahan the head coach? No. I think Shanahan was the OC, and then he went to 49ers for the head coach job.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, that was their year, man. And it's like, oh, you said the Patriots fans will tell you that, it was just the greatness of Tom Brady, and you can't keep the Patriots down. And I was gonna say that the same thing could be said for the Cowboys, apparently, because the Cowboys came back against the Falcons too. And, week 3 of this season? So, it's just one of those Atlanta, they've blown a historic amount of leads in the past couple years. And,
they had that game. But they let off the foot off the pedals.
They were about like
12 minutes left in the third quarter,
25?
and you start running 3 and outs, run plays? Really?
Yeah.
And they just let them touchdown. Just let them right back in the game.
I think they were. I do find it a bit weird. There was another game 3 or 4 weeks ago when I was like, the team that was up by like 3 touchdowns, they just kept passing. I'm like, wouldn't you mix more runs in there and
just burn the clock up?
Yeah, just salt away the wind. But that's why I'm not an NFL coach. You know, I can't handle all that. But yeah, in the meantime, I think the GoPro did its little thing before we popped the cork on this bad boy. So yeah, we did give you a second look at that bottle. We did open it, and Mitch has got a full glass there, but
I'm a slow alcoholic.
I don't. Yeah, I gave myself a little smaller pour too, since it was neat. But what would whiskey and wontons be without whiskey? And it would have been funny. I should have called Maitland and like ordered some fried wontons. Fail. Yeah, I'll have to get them next time. But yeah, better have 1 out of 2.
Cheers.
Than 0 out of 2. Cheers. But yeah, man. Let's see what we got. We got politics, COVID, NFL. Let's see. Okay, so what's your? You got a pick for the Super Bowl?
I do.
Like score.
Oh, score.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's gonna be a high scoring one.
It should.
I think it'll be like.
Because Brady throwing all those picks.
I think it'll be like 44-35, something like that.
Okay.
For KC.
I'll probably. And do you think Kansas City's gonna get at least 35? What was last year's Super Bowl?
Well, the Niners had a decent defense, right? But I don't remember what the score was. But then Krappolo threw like 3 picks and just gave the game to KC.
That was bad. Yeah.
Game on the line. Pick. Oh, we're still in it. Game on the line. Pick.
Nope. Well, that took.
Why are we paying you $25 million a year again?
Yeah, man. Looking back on it, the contract sounded bad at the time, but the way the market moved right after they made that deal, they're actually not.
Yeah, but they can dump him next year. It's more advantageous for them to dump him than it is to keep him.
They're not in horrible shape, man. I was really.
It's only like a $2 million cap hit or something like that if they dump him next year.
Yeah, I was excited about Darnold maybe going to the 49ers. But now they're saying, now the Jets are like, oh, we're behind Darnold. But then I hear like a couple days ago that Deshaun Watson wants to go to the Jets to play with Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
who is the Niners defensive coordinator, and apparently everybody loves this.
Stafford wants to go to the Niners.
He's one I'm not crazy about.
He's not that great.
I feel like...
But it did shoot a hole in Jim's theory, so I was good with that.
There you go. I've got like a... I don't know if it's a theory or just something I've noticed about football. There's stats guys and there's winners. You know, you got early I had early... when I played, I was in fantasy like... The year after Pittsburgh won their Super Bowl, I think I took Ben Roethlisberger in fantasy, and I just thought, oh, he wins games. It was my first time to play fantasy or something like that.
He's not very good for fantasy.
I didn't get it. And, Ben Roethlisberger, early in his career, was that guy who would, he would throw for, like, he'd go, like, 13 for 17 and, like, 71 yards and, like, 1 touchdown and 1 interception, right? But they'd win, like, 17-16 at the last second, right? Ben Roethlisberger would be that guy, and he has this absolute dog shit stat line, and he just wills him to a win in the the final moments of the game. So I grabbed him, and then I realized, oh, he's crap. And then all these guys are winning the league with like the Matt Ryans and the Matt Stafford guys. They're racking up all these fantasy points every week, and I'm like, oh, Matt Stafford, when's he gonna win a Super Bowl? Matt Ryan, when's he gonna win a Super Bowl? You know, and, well, the thing is, they put up 400 yards a game.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're great in fantasy, but in real life, I probably don't want them. And that's another thing. So like, you'd have Drew Brees, who is stats guy, and he's a winner until the refs screw him in a conference championship. I can't say anything about Drew Brees like ability-wise, because every time I've gotten him in a dude, I mean, you know, what can you pick out in his game that's like, oh, well, you know, he should have worked on this, or he was bad at this. Like, Drew Brees isn't bad at anything.
No.
It was a lot of just him getting screwed in conference championship games.
He got 1 Super Bowl, though.
He did get 1 Super Bowl. I think Aaron Rodgers got 1 too, and that's going to be their legacy.
That's their ticket to Canton, so that's all that matters.
You just need 1. Yeah.
The sucky thing is Eli will get
Eli, I was about to say Eli got 2. Now people are saying, are Phillip Rivers going to be a Hall of Famer? No. There's no chance Phillip Rivers is going to the... I tell you what, if every season would have been like 2009, 2010, with the Chargers, that year when they had like LaDainian Tomlinson and they went 14-2. Man, every time I watch SportsCenter or something, Phillip Rivers is just like cocked back, and he had Antonio Gates. I don't even remember. Man, he had like 1 or 2 stud receive. I don't know if Keenan Allen was in the league. Maybe he was like a rookie or something. But yeah, if Phillip Rivers would have had a bunch of seasons like that, it would have been up for discussion. But Drew Brees lighting up, like, he's had these crazy completion percentages. Got a Super Bowl under his belt. Aaron Rodgers, his claim to fame is like a touchdown to interception ratio. You know, if he
he controls the...
What did he throw, like 4 picks this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like 40-some touchdowns and like 3 picks. That's ridiculous. And they probably weren't his fault. They were probably deflected off somebody and then they picked it off that way. Like just him throwing right to another guy just doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's part of what I like about Pro Football Focus is they do a rating based on the amount of a risk. Somehow they calculate how risky each throw is. And it's like, oh, this guy makes the most risky throws and gets away with it. So he's like due for a turnover, right? And this guy makes the least risky throws and gets a lot of turnovers. So he's actually not, like, let's say somebody throws like 4 interceptions, but one, he throws it straight to his receiver who's got like a 5-yard bubble around him, and the receiver like turns his head too late. Football bounces off his helmet up in the air, and a defender is like running full speed from way out and just like scoops it up. So good throw, error by receiver, errant bounce of the ball, lucky defender, right place, right time, like full speed pick 6 or something, you know, just like some freak thing that happens. And Pro Football Focus
has all the analytical tools to take all that stuff into consideration. So that's why I do like that. See, but I think, like you were saying earlier, before we turned on all the equipment, I think Brady, you said he's still got the zip, but he's maybe lost just enough accuracy that those tight windows that he used to be able to either anticipate better or fit the ball into, he's either his anticipation or his reflexes have just dropped like a hair where he's not getting away with the stuff he was in the past, or his accuracy's dropped just a hair where he's not getting away with the stuff he was getting away with in the past. So either way, appears to finally, over this season, although he's been escaping with wins, and last season completion percentage is going down, turnovers are going up, although you have to factor in Bruce Arians into that equation, because every Bruce Arians coached quarterback has had, he had? Ben Roethlisberger. He was the Steelers offensive coordinator a while back. He had
He was in Arizona for a while.
Yeah, he's had 4 quarterbacks. He's been the OC or the coach of like 4 quarterbacks, and they have all had their Jameis, which some could argue he's a turnover machine anyway. We might find out in New Orleans next year.
No, it's gonna be that other guy, right? It was
Taysom Hill?
Yeah, it's gonna be that guy.
Man, I don't know. How often have they said Taysom Hill going forward? You know, he's next in line. He's been paying his dues. But when it comes down to it, they grudgingly put him in for a couple of games. And because I think they have an elite Alvin Kamara, elite. Their defense, elite. Michael Thomas he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Alvin Kamara should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The defense has a bunch of Pro Bowlers and a handful of guys that will probably be Hall of Famers. I think they got away with Teddy for a 5-game stretch last year, because you see Teddy.
Is he still there?
Teddy's in Carolina.
Ah, okay.
Teddy in Carolina did not get away. They went on was he healthy for all that though? I think he missed a couple, but still Teddy had a 5 or 6 game losing streak. Carolina ended the season with 9 consecutive losses. But they were close. And they were one was to Kansas City, and then one was to, I think they had a rough schedule, and
yeah.
We'll see next year.
That'll factor in with both of our teams next year as well.
Yeah, that's one of those things.
Which, on a conspiracy thing, it's always so strange that the Pats always have the easiest schedule in the entire NFL.
Yeah. Yeah,
Every
they do.
year.
They do have. I'll tell you, who else had an easy schedule? Is Cleveland. But yeah, the Patriots do. They get consistently. Well, that's going to change because the AFC East is getting harder.
Well, weren't the Pats in the cellar this year?
There's one team, Jets.
Oh.
The Jets are the other. You can't. Come on.
It's the Jets.
You can't outlose the Jets. Nobody loses more than the Jets.
Is it even going to matter if the Jets get that quarterback out of college?
Well, they're not, because Jacksonville's going to have that pick, and then Gardner Minshew's like, well, what am I, chopped liver? And they're like, I don't know. I don't think they've ever been crazy.
Maybe they'll trade it. I
mean, if Gardner Minshew thinks he can go be a starter somewhere, and somebody wants to give him money, the thing is, there's so much quarterback talent now. And I mean, if Deshaun Watson does want to go to the Jets, you think they won't unload Sam Darnold like that?
Yeah.
Or would they do a straight up trade? Or would Darnold end up in San Francisco? And then Deshaun ends up at the Jets?
There's a ton of super good free agents next year. Just crazy ones.
Yeah.
Free agents or just people due for a contract. If they don't get re-signed, then there's going to be trades galore.
I don't know. I think it's Deshaun that I'm thinking about. But yeah, it's almost, you notice the people are more, there's more sports shows and there's more to talk about and there's more trades now than there ever has been. And it started in the NBA and people I think they caught on. They're like, oh, like it's more exciting when all the players move around. And now the NFL is starting to become more player movement friendly.
NBA and MLB especially. Baseball.
I haven't kept up with baseball. I can't keep up. I don't care.
It's like so and so signs a huge he's traded over to here. Signs for $280 million. It's like teams just making it rain.
The contracts
baseball
are absolutely nuts in baseball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have
5-year like $250 million contract.
Mike Trout was, I don't know if he was a Ranger. He was on what team was he on? This is how much I know. Mike Trout is like, he's like on a Kevin Durant or like LeBron James level to people who know baseball. I'd literally.
It's such a short window.
I know his team has some red in it. It's either like the Washington Nationals. I think he's probably on the Nationals. Gun to my head. I was thinking Texas Rangers initially, but I'm like.
I think he got traded from them.
Maybe. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I saw he broke a record for a contract a year or two ago. And that's when I was like there was the A-Rod contract, and then there was the Mike Trout contract. I'm looking at these like, what's the percentage breakdown? Because I know that the salary cap in the NFL is the players get.
Baseball doesn't have one. It's a soft cap, so you can just pay a fine.
It's still a soft cap.
You can just pay a fine and go over the.
Which is like a luxury tax in the NBA.
So the MLB, the Yankees are like, Steinbrenners are.
I remember that.
Billionaires.
I just didn't think they still allowed them to do that.
Yeah.
Because I know George.
They just pay over every year.
Oh, okay. And it kind of works. Like I thought.
But it doesn't always work though, right? I mean, they rape their farm system.
Yeah.
And they've slowly. I mean, that's where you build teams from, right?
Yeah.
So you bring up your own guys, right? And then all of a sudden you've got an entire team of not expensive guys that are really freaking good, and you can bring them up at any time.
Yeah.
When you need them, it's like make a playoff push or whatever. You can bring these guys up, but when Steinbrenner was there, it was just go out and buy everybody, and these guys don't know anything about each other, right? They've never played together.
Chemistry.
But on paper, it looks great.
Yeah.
But you're going to turn a double play or. Two outfielders who, both of them call it, run into each other. That kind of crap happens when they haven't played together. And you just fork over a bunch of money and build a team with your checkbook.
I think the same thing happens in English, like in the Premier League or in the Champions League. If you have like a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or like a Man City, a lot of those clubs, these guys come in with like the Saudi oil money. And they just buy up a team, and they're like, all right, let's sign Messi, Ronaldinho, like Barcelona back, what was it, 5-7 years ago, whenever that thing was running. And they got Real Madrid, they had that Serbian guy, Modric, and Cristiano Ronaldo, and can't remember everybody right off the top of my head. Sergio Ramos, I want to say. But they assemble these crazy dream teams. And they just make a run at it, and you cannot do that in the NFL. And I didn't think you could get away with it. I assumed that had followed suit throughout other sports to kind of make it more fair. But then if you look, even the NFL, even though they have a hard cap to just keep stuff from getting crazy, you still have. If you go to Forbes.com, there's an article, and it's like how much is an NFL team worth? Or something,
way up there.
And it's like the budget for each NFL team, their operating revenue, and so it shows like the Bengals are like way down. It's like, oh, this family just doesn't really spend money, and then you'll have like the Cowboys where Jerry just like, and then I think the Steelers were up there, the Chiefs. I think the top five, the Cowboys, the Steelers, and the Chiefs were like in the top five.
Really? I think the Seahawks have been up there because when Paul Allen was there, their practice facility is right on Lake Washington. He built like another arena just for practice facility. And it's right on Lake Washington.
They could have been in. They could have been in the top
Probably in
5.
the top 10, maybe.
Yeah. Because yeah, I know.
There's not a lot of owners in the NFL that are billionaires.
No, I want to say. I'm pretty sure Dallas was number 1.
Oh, without a doubt. It's
Maybe New
worldwide.
England, or most valuable franchises, and their operating revenue is what it was. New England was like top 3, and
Bandwagon fans.
dude, in 10 years that's gonna change. I don't know. I think people talk about winning the divorce, and to me, at least, it looks like Tom Brady. Looks like Tom Brady's, he's the hot girl, and Belichick's the guy who lost his house and his car and his job. Did you get what's that? The going to the Big D and don't mean Dallas.
I don't
that
think
country
next
song.
Year, yeah, I don't think next year he is going to fare much better either. The Bills aren't going anywhere. They're going to be even better next year.
Miami.
And Miami already did better than the Pats this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're
If they could just get a legit quarterback, Miami would be set.
That's what I have trouble with, man. Everybody's like, Trevor Lawrence, generational talent, blah, blah, blah. And what did we hear last year?
It's Tua, right?
Tua's the best. Trent Dilfer. Tua Tagovailoa is the best NFL prospect I have ever seen coming out of the draft. He's a big kid. What is he, 6'2" or something? His mechanics, blah, blah, blah. Sure, this injury is a bit of a concern, but like everything, Tua is just like a god.
It's so difficult.
It's a crapshoot because so much of it is like, dude, how talented on the spectrum of physical talent? Where's Tom Brady? Bottom third.
Yeah.
He runs like an accountant.
Well, he was what the 158th pick or something like that?
199th. He was
Ridiculous.
way down. I think they literally took him with their last pick in the last round of the draft.
And he was like a backup at Michigan. Like he didn't even play that much.
Was he? I thought he played at Michigan and like led them to
Maybe the other guy got hurt, but he started out as a backup for sure.
There's like butterscotch in this.
Yeah.
Man, that's nice.
Into it, yeah.
Smells nice.
Yeah, so drafting a quarterback it's
a crapshoot.
Yeah.
But it has been better recently with I've noticed, at least in the past 2 years, 3 years, the guys coming out of college, they hit. Like, okay, let's say out of this last draft class, you had Kyler was the year before. I think Darnold is a lot better than he gets credit for because he's been stuck on the Jets.
Really shitty team.
Yeah. I think
Where's Carson Wentz going to end up?
there's a question.
What if
they
Carson Wentz goes to Miami?
That would be, man.
Or
That
Carson
would be
Wentz
interesting.
To the Niners,
Chicago.
Chicago needs a quarterback for sure.
Dude, they've needed a quarterback since like
They
ever.
could have had Mahomes.
They could have, yeah.
They traded up to get Trubisky and passed on Mahomes.
Dude, I never even heard of Mitch Trubisky until the Bears had drafted him. It's like, there was, I don't know if I'd ever heard of Mahomes. I definitely heard of Baker Mayfield, but yeah, like you got Mahomes, Mayfield, like Herbert hits this year, but you got Gardner Minshew coming in, like playing well enough apparently.
He
like,
tore it up at. I didn't even know he tore it up at Washington State though. He set like the NCAA record for like most touchdowns in the NCAA in like 1 year.
Wow. I was shocked at there's a lot of stats that I'm shocked by. I heard of Baker Mayfield had the rookie, he broke Peyton Manning's rookie amount of touchdown record. Yeah.
Really? What was that? Was it like 40 some touchdowns?
I think it was like I don't know. But I was shocked.
That's crazy.
I was shocked that Baker, because he didn't play week 1. You know how many guys get stuck in there week 1? It's like, you're the chosen one, And for Baker Mayfield to get what he got thrown in like week 3 against the Jets, and then did he lead him to a comeback win in his first? And I think, like, was it Tyrod? Was it Tyrod Taylor that was in, and he like got a concussion or something? They're like, "All right, Baker, good luck." Man, that dog's going nuts out there. I saw something. Oh, it's another dog.
It's Lulu.
Uh-oh. We got doggy. Some doggy aggression going on. Huh. Oh, there's a third dog. Oh, boy. Oh, she's Fluffy. That white one. So there's two poodles. One is a little brown poodle with a sweater on. One's a white poodle who appears to have gotten all of its body hair trimmed, but has a super fluffy head and a super fluffy tail. Can we? Whose dog is that? Can I get that?
No idea. Guessing hers?
Let's get it in here. Come on, doggy. Eh?
Whoa!
Nope. She don't want to be grabbed. You see that? No means no. I just gave up. Oh, I'm not Donald
You're
Trump.
lose a finger there.
Yeah. No, this one's a nipper. What is it? Gigi?
Lulu?
Lulu.
Lulu doesn't bite. Well, she
She like,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's
No,
not
but
being aggressive.
I just kind of dangled my hand down when I first met her. Because, I don't like move towards dogs. I usually just hang a hand down or let them, if they seem like they're not going to harm me, I'll just hang a hand down and let them make the first move. Because sometimes if you come out like this, they're like, wait, what? You don't want to catch them off guard. So. Yeah, and she was kind of doing this, trying to jump back and forth.
She's the most non-aggressive dog there is.
Yeah. So, well, guys, we got the Cutty Sark out. We talked NFL, we talked COVID, we talked politics. I probably talked about a couple other things that, yeah, I'm going to slap the video and audio up on YouTube. We're going to have an audio-only version on Apple Podcast, maybe Spotify, a couple other platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe. I already had a channel, surprisingly. I uploaded a video of one of my friend's bands playing at a neighbor's house, at a neighbor's 50th birthday party before I left America. And that's like part of, it was like, I was going to start a YouTube channel the other day, and it's, oh, you already have one, you're one upload.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Any views?
So yeah, it's got like 100 and something views,
Nice.
like for our friends and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, until next time, that's us with the Cutty Sark Prohibition edition. A little butterscotch on the nose. It was nice. If you find it in your local liquor store, I highly recommend it. And that's whiskey and wontons. We'll see you later.